The views and opinions expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Forge Fitness and Nutrition LLC, the podcast hosts, owners, employees, contractors, partners, or affiliates. This presentation may include the use of explicit language. Listener or viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the Forge Fitness and Nutrition and Habit podcast. My name is Michael S. Parker. I'm so happy that you're here. We have so many amazing people that we work with. And today I'm joined by Kelvin Stewart. He has been with us since, Kelvin, October 2020? Is that about right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So he's been with us for many, many years. He has been working with the illustrious Coach Millie. I knew that when he came in that he had very specific goals and there were things that he needed to accomplish. And he was resolute. But he wasn't just resolute. He'd come from a place where there was failure and there was problems, the same things that all of us contend with in the world of fitness and nutrition. One of the things that he said, he's like, I'm done messing around. I want to keep up with my boys. Basketball is a thing that you like to do with your kids. That's right.
Absolutely.
I remember he had said, and I'm paraphrasing, so this isn't a verbatim, but I just remember this always stuck with me, that you said that you just can't let them get better than you and you need to be as good as you can be.
Right.
So to speak.
Correct.
Is that close?
Correct. It's very competitive. A lot of fun, but it's very competitive.
You literally were saying to yourself that I need to establish myself as an example for well-being for my children. I have some really conversational questions for you that I wanted to just go through because to me, I feel like fitness and nutrition are non-negotiable, but a lot of people don't see it the same way that I do. And it's so easy to find reasons to not be well. You can always find an excuse. But one of the things that you said is that you were done. You were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and this was it. You wanted to make like a literal lifestyle change and you're willing to put in the work, but you had to put the work in with parameter because you're an accountant, if I remember correctly.
I'm also older as well. Much older, probably like a lot of people that do this.
Yeah. And so you're busy, and you needed to be able to fit this into a lifestyle that was sustainable. And the numbers speak for themselves, right? You have been very diligent now for 5.5 years. All of us have this catharsis that I think that we go through. Like there's something that kind of drills into our brain a little bit. And so what did life look or feel like before you started on your real wellness journey?
Can I give you a little backstory before we
Please.
get into that? Okay. So of course, when I was younger, I was in a lot better shape. I was one of the guys, had less than 10% body fat. I bench pressed double my weight. And I wasn't like a big high school basketball player, but I was a pretty good pickup player. I'm 5'8". I could touch the rim, all that good stuff. Right. So I was well rounded, right? As far as like speed, stamina, and strength. But as I got older, and this is talking to somebody who's ran 3 marathons, as I got older, it seemed like I put in more and more work and ended up hurting myself or only be good at one thing. Like I would either run and get like a fat skinny because I'm built like a barrel, or I would be able to bench press like 225 for 13 reps when I was like 42 years old. But I can't chase my kids up and down the basketball court because I'll pull a hamstring or my knee hurts afterwards. So I'm like, this is crap. So what was working when I was younger? It's not working now. And that's where I was at the day that I talked to you, because I need some expertise here. And I need somebody to fill in the gaps for me. And that's exactly what's happened with Coach Millie.
No, I think that I recall that you had said that for you, it was more about being able to perform as a father and a grandfather. You weren't so concerned about the aesthetics. You were willing to allow whatever aesthetics were the byproduct. That was fine for you. But for you, it was performance.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is I feel younger in my 50s than I did in my 40s because of all this, because I thought that athleticism was gone. And you've heard me when I was writing you, it's just hidden. It's not. Nothing's ever, and this is the beautiful thing about fitness, things ever, if I could just say one thing and leave right now, nothing is ever over unless you let it be over.
It's when we allow it to be over, because you can be fit at 80. It is hard though. We do live in a bit of a fractured society as it relates to what fitness or wellness is. To me, pharmaceuticals and medical intervention care is not preventative. It's reactionary. Managing your well-being starts with thinking about functionality. Are you capable of being the best grandfather that you possibly can be? And are you able to meet those children as they go, so they go from toddlers are crazy. And then you get into the teenage years, and then you get into the adult years, and there's the life cycle. And I just wish that people would, and they don't clearly, appreciate that fitness and their nutritional habits aren't just about them. They're about their legacy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Especially like, I'm gonna be sexist here for a second. Like as men, especially middle aged men, we won't hardly do anything for ourselves, but we'll bend over backwards for like our kids, our grandkids, somebody we work with. And so like I like to put this like I don't know if you ever heard the book Love Does.
I've
So
heard of it.
I love my kids, I love my grandkids. And so my body, my energy, my stamina, my strength, that's the vehicle that delivers that love. Because like
Yeah.
back when I came to you, like my kids operate, they want to go to the basketball gym and play basketball for a few hours, right? But like if I don't play, they don't want to go, right? So I think that's a huge privilege for my kids to be that old and want to make sure that their dad still play with them, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna do everything I can to play and just to have those moments to have that fun with my kids before they grow up, move out of the house. And so I'm living that with my grandkids because I'm here in Georgia, right? August, it's gonna be like 97 degrees, 100% humidity. Well, my 4-year-old granddaughter can run for hours and hours and hours, and she wants to go outside and go from one play thing to another, and she wants her grandfather to go with her and do everything that she does.
How cool is that?
That is freaking awesome. That's the best gift that you could ever give me, to be honest with you.
I used to say that to people that I lived for my funeral and that the behaviors of today were designed for the reaction of those later. I always felt like I had to be the best person that I could be now. Otherwise, it would be a very lonely end. I don't want to go golfing by myself. I would like to go golfing with very close friends that I've cultivated over years through
Well, yeah.
trust and trials, tribulations, and things of that nature. And fitness and nutrition and habit, these things are all the same because they require a high degree of effort. You have to be conscientious and mindful. And one of the things that I think is super cool about you and your story is that you projected to the future. You were not selfish. You did not think about, well, I want to look good right now in my jeans.
Mm.
That's not what you told me when I first met you. And
Right.
that is exactly why Forge exists. No, don't get me wrong. We will help people transform their physiques. That's not a problem. But I like people who have intrinsically motivated goals. It's something that's outside of an end result. It is a lifestyle. It's because it's in perpetuity. It allows you sustainability. Sustainability brings actual joy. Happiness is an emotion. I'm not talking about that. I feel like if I were a grandfather, because there's no way that I will be someday, but like if I were, I'm going to be an amazing uncle. That I will be. But I want to run down my nephews and my nieces like little gazelles, and I'm a lion. I mean, like, it's the physicality, it's the capacity to engage.
Yeah, that would be true because I have 4 sons. That is definitely true.
Well, you think about it though,
That's
too, the obesity rate is insane, right? Not just with adults, but the children. Like it's 42% now, but it's going to be 50% within the next 3 to 4 years. So half of American children are going to be clinically obese. It's men like you or parents like you who are disallowing this by their own behavior. You're saying, no, this is how we are. We're going to be physical and we're going to be capable and we're going to live as long as we possibly can, barring any incidents, right? And I just think that is a very, very, very cool thing. At least 20 to 30 times since you and I met over the years. I've
flattered.
said, I know this guy, and he said this, and it was about you saying, I have to perform for my children. That is such an amazing way of looking at fatherhood. And I just wish more guys would. And they are. I think there is a shift. I'm sensing it. And I'm on the front lines. But you were there early. Now there was a disparity, right? Because our parents, because you're a little older than me. Because I'm X, you're young
Yeah.
boomer. Okay, that makes sense. So there's a little bit of a crossover there. It's important for parents to blaze the trail when it comes to the fitness, nutrition, and habit management of children. They don't do it. And I think there's a handful of reasons, but if we could just look at the main ones, I think there's a degree of extraordinary laziness. It's not a lack of information. There's tons of information. It's all over the place. It's on Google. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. It's on TikTok. It's on all the social media sites. There's no lack of information. It's just people are lazy. And you said no.
Right. And I think there's an additional component to that too. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but like people want it now. And so one thing I try to do in my fitness journey, like I do have struggles. One of my struggles is nutrition. And what makes it frustrating is I eat well enough to perform, but bad enough to screw up the fat loss. Right. So I'm like, it's just bad enough to do it. But I enjoy the journey. I absolutely enjoy the journey. And like when I'm talking to Millie, I refer to working out as party time. And so my struggle is more with nutrition, not with the work. I love going down there working out. Like if I had 2 hours in the morning, you said, Kelvin, we're gonna lift weights for an hour and go run for an hour. Let's do it. Or if we were in California, we're gonna go hiking all day, 12 miles a day. Let's do it. That'd be a blast. That's the best message you could give me.
So what was the hardest part for you starting that journey? And how did you get past that? Because I'm gonna say it's probably a mental roadblock. What happened? Like, how did you get through and just say, enough is enough, I'm doing this? What was the catalyst for your change?
Swallow a little bit of pride a little bit because I didn't know what I was doing, getting to be middle aged. Because, like, so what worked when I was like, 25 and 30, even 35, doesn't really work at 50. And of course, as you get older and older, you get busier and busier. And so everything changed. Now, these little variables, I was doing a bad job at managing them.
Mhm.
And so, like, now it's very simplified for me because, like, I tease. Well, I'm serious, but I'm teasing me when I say this. I said I got three priorities when it comes to fitness nutrition. It's consistency, consistency, and consistency. And so, so like, kind of, put my pride on the back seat for a little bit. But by the time I talked to you, I was so fed up. I didn't care. I'd probably been on my knees. Please, please, let's do this. Show me what I'm doing wrong. And so that was part of it. And then just you gotta make the time as well.
Yeah.
And so if I was to sit here and like list like all the little things that I'm nowhere near perfect, right? But all the near things that I was doing before not knowing down, it'd probably be like 100 things.
Yeah. And then did you prioritize those in a weird way? Did you hierarchy the reasons? Are you talking about the reasons you didn't or the reasons that you did?
Well, there was, I knew I was doing some things wrong, but when I started, getting the coach and everything, we started working through everything. I was doing a whole lot more wrong than what I thought I was.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like when it comes to nutrition, I had like so many instigators. And like, when I had, low fat loss back when I was in college, like very, very low fat loss, or excuse me, fat level, all I was doing was going to class and working out and playing basketball. There were no stresses and no schedules really to keep, and that was it. And then even like in my younger adulthood, I didn't have kids and stuff like that. Everything was so much simpler. So now when you get all these variables, you got more things to overcome. Because like when I got hooked up with you guys, my youngest was playing varsity basketball. Well, you want to try to get up, at 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning to work out, but you might be 2 hours away at 11 o'clock on a weeknight, wait for him to finish up a game. So you really do find out how bad you want to do something, and you do get to the point like I rather lose like half an hour of sleep and go do it than sit and lay here and sleep. And I see the rewards, the return on investment in accountant speak is so much more greater than if I lay there and sleep.
Yeah. You got something out of the action.
Oh yeah, and just doing the workout isn't just the physical part of it as well, but like it helped me be a better father because when I get up and get going earlier than everybody else in the house, and I'm like super relaxed, I'm super focused, so I'm gonna be a whole lot more patient. I'm gonna look on what's really going on if my kids have an issue or something, or when the stresses come about. I'm a better accountant with it as well.
It doesn't surprise me. Cognitive function increases with physical activity. This is known.
Mm-hmm.
It's this empirical. Yeah. And it's so frustrating, I think, for fitness professionals, like high level fitness professionals, because we know the advantages of consistency and moving the body and eating well. Getting through the noise is extraordinarily difficult to do. And you had to cut through your own personal noise, like, because there's the internal things that Kelvin says to himself. And there's the external things that friends or family say, whether they're trying to help or not. That's not the point. The point is that there's things that are said. But then social media, you open up social media and then all of a sudden, like, there's a whole new standard there that you didn't even know existed. And it seems to me that you just kind of rejected a lot of that and you focused in on what can I do now?
Exactly. You're spot on there. You're spot on there. And like Coach Millie is like pivotal, and she's in the middle of all that, right? And what I know coming into this as far as fitness goes, and then like what I know how to do if I want to, build certain muscles or work out, or if I want more stamina, more strength. I know a lot of that. I know what kind of works with me. But then like, so Millie's adding the 15 or 20%, but it's the 15 for 20% difference maker. Because you had that knowledge, right? And so, I've loved working out since I was like in the 5th grade, right? I've always enjoyed it. But like, it might have been the second week Millie and I were together. We had that conversation was in the sweet Millie way. She said, Kelvin, you need to learn how to behave. Because I was thinking like, this is great. I got all this expertise. She's got this beautiful workout plan. I'm so excited to get to do this. And so I did. I hurt my shoulder, right? But it was because I was pushing it like way. I was writing a check my body couldn't cash, right? This is what I was doing. And so from there, we learned a beautiful thing about how I'm working hard, I'm developing, but I'm not hurting myself.
Yeah, that is so easy to do. It's very simple to slide into this like over exuberance, and you think that if you push harder, you're going to get more return. One of the things too, like Millie and I were just talking about this not that long ago. We were talking about the importance of tempo in training. One of the things that we talk about is the propensity of clients to think that more is better. They think that more is better in exercise and less is better in nutrition, and it's exactly wrong.
It is. It is.
Kelvin needs Kelvin's world. You need your workouts, you need your nutrition, not someone else's. If you're savvy enough, like you could probably muddle through, but there's nothing better than having a coach there to say, what are you doing, man? It's two parts. I think a really good coach can restrain where you have a potential for going aggressive and injuring, but a coach will also push where you have a propensity to be a little bit on the lazy side, or you're not necessarily enthusiastic about the activity. It is interesting how difficult it is to set yourself mentally into a path for consistency and then realize that you don't always have to go hard every time. Sometimes consistency trumps intensity. And I think that we just get impatient, right? Because we want it now. It's the instant gratification, I think, is where there's marketing and there's social media. There's all this crap that's going on. But we believe now as a society in general, we're just like, oh, I can lose 30 pounds in 2 weeks. No, you can't. And not safely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, like this added weight that I have in older age, it didn't come on overnight, and it's not gonna go off overnight. Like my sons could attest to it. I'm gonna win this battle. 0.2 of a pound at a time.
That's exactly right.
That's what's going to happen. And then like the beautiful thing about like with the coaches, stuff like that, as soon as Millie sees you had a good cut that week, she's going to go into, okay, how you feeling? How you performing? How you sleeping? She's going to go into it comprehensively.
Here's the other thing too, because we talk about breakthroughs. People are so impatient, they don't wait for the breakthrough. But I want to hear about yours. What was the moment when you realized I am not the same person as when I started and I'm never going back?
But see, there's still breakthrough moments still happening now, to be honest with you, Michael. And it comes along in different phases, because there's a mental aspect of it, which, like you could tell when I met with you that day, I was done with the status quo. I was absolutely done and over it, right? I was at the stage, if you told me I had to eat fescue or grass the rest of my life to do it, or liver, whatever, I was going to eat it and do it. That's how I felt mentally. But then, I felt like, I'm middle-aged, all that's gone. I'm really not going to expect that much. I'm just going to try to just slowly work my way back into it. And it was probably about 6 months into it, and I lost about 15 pounds, and I'd honed in the diet, and I was probably doing nutritionally probably the best I've done so far, but I'm about to beat it. And I remember I was going to get my blonde drawn that morning at a clinic just for a health checkup. And I remember like walking across the parking lot, and I was looking forward to getting the checkup because I'm in my 50s. I feel like I'm 25. I'm like, I thought this energy was gone. And I said, I felt like I had the same energy that I had when I was 55, or 25. And even like now, I enjoy those moments because I went and got an annual checkup about a month and a half ago. And I had to explain to the doctor why my resting heartbeat was below 60 beats per minute. And that's the credit to Millie, not to me.
Fantastic.
Well, so that's a credit to her, because like we'll start out with just a little side beat is she was like, okay, you want to do bodybuilding, powerlifting, or work on athletic? Why you want to work on this next set of workouts, right? And so I tell her that's what I kind of want to do. And then she does what I call Millie-nize the workout, right? Because with Millie, the beautiful thing about it is like, me being an older, well, as a powerlifter, like when I was younger, as long as I'm on 2 feet, I'm fine. But you start getting me on one leg and going up and down, backwards, forwards, and all that, I need to work. But here's what it goes like. Millie say that we're demented, and she'll laugh when she says it. It's because like what I suck at, that's what I want to work on. And so she throws that in there, and she knows, like if Camila was sitting here next to me and I was talking to you, she could finish my sentence for me. Yeah, and the thing about it is, here's the kicker to it. I ripped my pec back in college, my left pec, and run up and chasing my kids up down the court. I was constantly pulling hamstrings too, right, or tweaking it or whatever.
Okay.
I hadn't had a hurt shoulder or a bad hamstring, and I don't know when. I'm more flexible now than I was in my mid-20s.
Mobility is the gateway to strength production. This is phenomenal. Like I'm just looking at what she just recently wrote you, but moreover, like I wanted to just praise you. Your exercise adherence is fucking great. I know the week of the 6th and the 13th, you were out where you were traveling.
I was sick. And that's horrible when you sit for 10, 12 hours a day at a desk. That was horrible. So when I came back, my hips were tight. And so like with the leg work, we're just getting where we're ready to start loading the weight, because people don't want to hear this, but when they may want to hear this, because when me being older, like when I do squats, it's not hurting my thighs I have to worry about. I got to worry about the weak links that's around it, like my hips, my lower back,
joint,
and things of that nature. Yeah.
This is pretty outstanding. For those of you who don't know, you're 56. and
Yes, sir.
you are currently doing the workouts of 25-year-old TikTokers.
Oh, thank you.
I want to be very precise about what I mean by that. That like this is a high compliment, but I want to make sure that people understand what I meant by that. This isn't just like bullshit intense workouts. These are curated,
Mhm.
professionally created for you by a coach who's known you for a half a decade, right?
Right. You just
The way that your workout algorithms are based, they're progressive. The way she has you moving right now, she's got you on these awesome pulls and pushes. Like that's
Mhm,
coming. Did you see your your
yes, I did.
coming protocol?
I'm excited about the side step ups. I've never done that before. And actually, like I said, we're demented. I enjoy the step ups, but I'm looking forward to the side steps up. And I'm horrible at single leg squats and single leg deadlifts, but I love doing them
That's why you
because
need to do more.
yeah.
Yeah. And but at your age, it's exactly what you need. And
Mhm,
what she's got programmed for you, your strength endurance protocol that starts on the 17th,
mhm,
today being the 10th. I look at this and if I didn't know you and I
mhm.
saw this, I think she's training an athlete.
Oh wow, thank you, thank you.
And then what's interesting is you absolutely have earned it.
We walked the path together. I wouldn't, like I said, I just didn't play for Forge, but I wouldn't be here without her.
I know that's very sweet of
Yes,
you to say.
yeah.
Kelvin, look, don't get me wrong. I'm like, that's beautiful. It makes me, in my heart sings when I hear you say that, because that was the whole purpose of me even taking this horrible risk and taking the licks that I have to create this company. I love to hear that. Like, but let's be honest. None of this would work if you didn't do it.
I appreciate that, but I don't feel like I'm doing it alone. I got a lot of help. And you're talking about kids, like, my 24-year-old, my 21-year-old still live with me, and they're like, whatever you need to do. They're like fully, like, they'll want to hear about the workouts and stuff like that. I guess that their old man is still trying.
See, again,
And they're so much more athletic.
you just, it's just more credit to you. Kelvin, you're a very, very generous man. You're very careful and considerate about the way that you say things. I appreciate that. But I want to make sure that you are very aware that none of this would have happened if you did not do it. Yes, Millie is there. We're always here. We're never going to not be here for you. But the fact that you followed through and you did the hard work yourself, she can build you the best workout program on the planet. But if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. You are doing it. Your exercise adherence is so good right now. You're even running. When I met you for the first time 5.5 years ago, you said you couldn't run.
Yeah, everything. I would hurt myself. I wouldn't do it for like about maybe 4 or 6 weeks. And I would end up hurting something, either like my knee or my hamstring or something like that. And I wasn't flexible. That was a big issue as well.
Well, I can literally see right here everything that you're doing. I can even tell you how much you're lifting. I am really impressed. Your force production has gone up so much. Okay, so for example, I'll give you a good example. Barbell sumo deadlift. You're pulling 135 on 4 sets of 10 to 8. And what does she have your tempo at? Are you on a 202? Probably.
When you
Yeah.
say 202, like how many minutes or seconds?
2 seconds up, 2 seconds down.
Yes.
Kettlebell figure eights. No, thank you. But good for you.
I love those.
Good for you.
That's a testament to me, and I guess all that core work. Like I said, we have fun with it. When she had me doing wall sits, when we first got hooked up together, I told her I love wall sits. I was going to send her a video of me doing wall sits, eating a sandwich, drinking a beverage.
Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. And that's the one thing too, is like, whenever you feel like you need to, always send your coach your videos of your movement patterns. But if you look at your periodized progressions, you've done so well and your execution has been just spot on. And I'm really proud of you. I can't wait to see what you're going to do. You're going to come out of the holiday season in a better shape than you came into it at this pace.
Hopefully, that's the goal. Me and you. Hopefully, like we have this conversation next year, this time it's going to be a whole lot more weight for a whole lot longer. Because another thing I could throw into as being an old person is like when I'm consistent, it really surprises me how fast the production goes up. It really surprises me. Uh-huh.
But you had mentioned that it went outside of fitness. You said that it made you a better accountant. So tell me, like, how has that helped with your work and your relationships? And how do you feel today compared to how you felt, say, 5 years ago?
Oh wow, totally different person. Totally different person. Totally. And the mental, I'll say mental toughness, but like just the mental attitude to get up. Because like yesterday, I went like to the 9:30 church service, and I woke up at 6, and I'm like, I kind of feel like running. I kind of feel like don't. And I told my son after I got through running that I felt like if I didn't run, I'd feel like a wuss all day long. So I want to get up and run. And of course, you're always happy you did it, right? You always feel good about it. But it's a totally different person. Because then again, you get energy from it and stuff like that. And you're like, what was I thinking when I was laying there at 6 o'clock in the morning? There shouldn't have even been a decision to make. That's it. And then what was the previous question you had before I fell 5 years ago and now?
Think about it from an energy vitality standpoint, 5 years ago compared to.
Different person. Totally different person. Totally. Absolutely. Just totally. Because I felt like I was getting older. I was breaking down. Like my knee would be hurting. If I worked out, like if I worked out chest, my shoulder would hurt for 3 or 4 days and no flexibility at all whatsoever. And I still got a ways to go, but this improved so much, and you notice it. Because like when I go play with the grandkids, they want you on the floor with them, so you're rolling around, getting up and down, and things of that nature. And like I was telling Millie one night when I was over at, this is before my grandson was born, so it's just my granddaughter, and so she's getting 110% of all my attention, right? And keep in mind that she's a toddler, and she knows when Papa's there. That's what she calls me, Papa. So she knows I'm there. It's time to play, and so she'll hurry up and go ahead and eat while everybody else is blessing the food, and she's ready to go play as soon as the blessing's over with. So parents have to have to say they gotta let him eat, and then you can go play. So it was one of those summer nights where it's like just crazy hot here in Georgia, and she was on her slide that comes up like about my shoulders, and my son, which is her dad, was sitting next to me talking, and she was jumping up backwards going down that slide, and she wasn't paying attention if I was talking to my son or not, if I was even watching, right? So I told Millie I felt like I'd done 200 goblet squats that night with that beautiful little child on and on and on. So she made a granddaughter workout, which is like a long superset. We do like 9 or 10 exercises before you rest, but goblet squats, decline sit-ups, everything that's super functional.
That's really fucking cool.
That's what I thought when she came up with it.
But it's the inclusion of it's the practical application of fitness to your life. That people need to understand that fitness isn't about just your aesthetics. Yeah, it's nice to not be fat. Okay. But it's really nice to be able to put your shoes on without having to take a deep breath and exhale so you can get past your gut.
It really helps to embellish it too. And the beautiful thing I tell you, like with the grandkids, if they dance, they want their grandpa to dance with them too. And it's just absolutely awesome to be able. You can't monetize what kind of gift that is. Because, that night, if she wanted to jump down that slide 400 times, I'm going to happily do 400 goblet squats if I need to.
We're ruined as a society. We don't focus on the practical application and what it means to your life. Imagine the memories that she has forever, for the rest of her life.
Like my parents, they were born in the 40s, right? So a lot of the work you did was manual work, right? So you're not going to work out afterwards, right? But like when you talking about generationally, that is true, because like my father was the one that he was a truck driver, so he wore a truck driving uniform, but in the 90-degree or 95-degree Georgia heat, after he got off work, he'd have the top shirt off, and he's playing baseball with me in the backyard. So if I wanted to play, they'd go play whatever I want to play. And my mother played varsity basketball, and she was the same way. And so they would get out there in the middle of it as well, but they just wouldn't do the workouts afterwards, right? They're fully supportive of me doing it though.
But they were active.
Yeah, they were very active, and they would get right in the middle of the action. And so with my kids, yeah, you have all sorts of live conversations while you're doing stuff like that, right? So it's one of my youngest son, like when he's playing basketball, he wants to get up 300 shots like every night, whether he's got practice or not, right? I go be a ball boy, so I'm chasing down 3 balls at one time, just getting shot up. You have all sorts of live conversations, but it's a beautiful thing to be able to be in that place to have that. And you're talking about being better, like, because I don't have, all my sons have more athleticism in one finger than I probably do my whole entire body. And having 4 boys, the younger 2 are always at an advantage because they grew up playing their older brothers. So when they play somebody that's their age, they're accustomed to play somebody bigger and stronger and faster.
How did it change your work?
Wow, I could probably go on for about 20 minutes about that.
Go for it. I won't interrupt.
I'm an executive where I work at, right? So you're a leader, right? And so the one beautiful thing to me, the favorite part about my job is seeing people grow, right? So you want to pour love and energy into them, right? You can't give what you don't have, and it's that simple. I could have the best heart in the world to want to train you, and when you train folks, especially when I train folks, you kind of throw them deep in the pool and you put up guardrails, right? So you're going to make a mistake, but they learn really fast off of that, right?
Little bumper bowling.
Yeah, and then you coach off of that, right? So if I don't have the energy to do that, I'm not going to do it. I got the best heart in the world to want to do that, but if I don't have the energy and the stamina, especially the more fit I get, the more sharper I am later in the day.
And you feel like that has had a direct translation to the quality of your work?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Me too, man. I triage my day. Do you find yourself doing that?
Well, I have things that have to get done. Like I don't know how it is like work. You basically work for yourself, right? So you probably got a little more flexibility than I do, but I do So really is no such thing as time management. You're managing priorities is what you're doing.
That's
Right.
right.
And so, yeah,
Triage. Yeah.
so I do triage all that. And I go by priorities because like when I go to plan out my day, even though my work is very important, it's not in the top 2 or 3 things. And I'll take care of the 2 or 3 things first.
Let's explore that. I think that's really important. This is key right here. What are your top 3 priorities in your life?
I'm a Christian, so I'm not trying to push my Christianity on him, but first out of the gate, I want to get woken up, right? And so whatever wakes me up faster is it's getting to be drinking water wakes me up faster than anything else does when I roll out of bed in the morning. For 2 ounces of water, I'm beautiful. I'm ready to roll, all fully hydrated and everything. But I like to take care of spiritual time first, and then the physical, and then I'll get to work. Because if I don't sleep that well, and like beautiful days are to me are like my workout is done, and I work out downstairs in my house, so my workout's done. I'm walking up the steps to go upstairs to get ready for work, and the sun hadn't came up yet. That's a perfect day for me. I feel like I'm ahead. But say for instance I don't sleep that well, or I get to sleep later that night or something like that. And you know how like you don't put out the same amount of energy every day. If you put out more energy over 3 or 4 days, you might need a little extra sleep, right? So say for instance I'm later. I'll just I do have flexibility. I'll start my work day a little bit later and then just work later is what I do. So I want to keep that priority because
Yeah,
when
you
I
defer it.
keep that priorities, everything seems so much more productive and I'm so much more at ease doing a whole lot more. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Pain or
You have to triage it. You have to be very considerate. Most people are not willing or able to do this. Let's see. All right, here we go. This is Kelvin's calendar. So every single day that you see a blue check mark means that he hit his workout. Now, there are ancillary check-ins here. Millie has scheduled stretches and stuff like that. So this is August.
yeah, they're still going on.
This is September. And this is October. So these are the 2 weeks you were sick. But okay, so you were unsick for the week of the 20th. And look at this. Perfect adherence and supplemental running. This is fantastic work, my man. I've already looked at what she's got planned for you. It's going to be delightful. I think you're going to really like it. It's a direct progression off of your pull, push, and leg system that she's created. Very well done. But look at this. I'm going to go back into July. Here you're in June. Look at all the blue check marks. You're hitting them, man. You're hitting them. I mean, like April, you had a little bit of a rough go here. What, 2 weeks? No big deal, man. Just absolutely fantastic. That right there, that consistency creates an interpersonal trust. You are starting to believe yourself.
Yeah.
And that means that when you look at your day and you have other things that pop up, and this is where I was going to talk about triage, you don't let other things affect you. There's no excuse. In your mind, in the Kelvin brain, you're like, must do workout will be completed. This is what we need to get to.
Yeah, we line up almost like that because like the reason why I do my workout in the morning, that's where I can most easily protect it, right? Because like the company I work at, like I worked at companies before where if you're not there at 7 o'clock, even though everybody's professional, right? They don't care if you show up at 8, 7, 8, or 9. As long as you get the job done, the bosses doesn't care, right? But if you show up at 7:10, 95% of people are going to be there because they get in, get it done, and they get out, right? Where I work at now, they usually start work about 8:30 or 9. And so that way I'm not getting calls and emails or anything urgent early in the morning. And two, my house isn't stirring at 6 o'clock in the morning because, having younger folks, their work hours and everything is for later. So that's perfect quiet time for me to get it done. Where I've landed, because like I said earlier, you can't give away what you don't have. So if you don't have love, you don't have energy, you can't give it away.
Some people like to put fitness in its own place, nutrition in its own place, and behavior or like habit in its own place. I don't do that. It's all. But what advice would you give somebody who's maybe listening or watching and they're like, I just can't get started?
Start small and just build upon each day. I get excited when I do 4 more reps a day, or if I cut off 10 seconds off a run, right? And Coach Millie being Coach Millie, I'll run the very next day after leg day. We judge those 2 days together, right? Because it's like I intentionally, I always go up on my legs, but I could probably go up more if I wasn't running the next day. But we do that intentionally because the whole focus is being an athlete, right? An athlete, you do it day in, day out, right? And so we'll do them 2 together, and then after those 2 days, did I go too hard or not hard enough, right? So, but what I would tell someone is, first of all, don't doubt. Doubt kills, but just start out small and just build off of that. Because I've been in gyms before, like gym I went to as a teenager. There was a humongous dude. I mean, like 450-pound, bench press guy, right? And like my buddy I was working out with, he's like barely 120 pounds, right? And he would be not so nice. And he bumped into him and goes, "Excuse me." And he was talking about the reason why he's nice to people, something that's half his size, is because he was always wants that guy. And he's growing into how he was. So I mean, there's the only limits you have. I know I'm being scattered here. One, don't ever give up. Nothing's ever over, no matter what you think. Nothing's ever over. And then two, just keep building off from where you're at. And the race is yours. The race is yours. And I love to compete, but the favorite person I love to compete with is myself. And I want to be, and like my thoughts tomorrow night going to that workout is be better than I was the one before. Now, if something happens, I mean, I don't say when I say this doesn't take talent, like I don't have to throw a basketball 103 miles an hour. I don't have to make like a 40-foot jump shot, right? So if I just keep coming, I'm going to win. It's just a matter of time. I'm going to win and enjoy the journey because there's so many good things that comes with it, and the endorphins, the energy. Because you heard me say before, when I go to work out, I call it party time because I completely detach from the world.
I think that's really important. Don't give up, because that's so easy, right? You said it earlier. You said instant gratification. We want it now. And if it doesn't happen immediately, people quit so fast. And I think that is just self-sabotage at the highest order. And you've gone through it, man. Like you've definitely gone through it.
Oh, I have, because like you noticed, the missing workouts. I'm going to count it. That was in April. What happens in April? The first 4 months of the year is always the roughest for an accountant. But you learn things to go around that, because I was I'm going to do the whole entire workout, or I'm not going to do it at all. And then, Mill and I would talk.
All or nothing.
Yeah, I was a big, like I said, you could fill up days with what I've learned over the past 5 years, Mike. Yeah, and even though like doing the full workout is the best, but what's very close to being the best is like, you've seen those progressions that Millie has for me, right? But say for instance something comes up. Say for instance I can't do my workout in the morning, 5:30 a day, and I gotta be somewhere at 7. So okay, so I probably got a good 30 minutes that I can probably work out, right? And 5 to 10 that's gonna be warming up and stretching and getting the weight warmed up, right? So like so whatever's compound movements, that's why we'll focus on that time, and I wouldn't do the ancillary stuff. Does that make sense? So if I had
Yes,
still keeps the progress going forward. It doesn't halt it. And another thing too is that I did before Millie was, if I got hurt, I would just shut it down. Because when we first got hooked up together, the inside of my legs was so weak. And so like I tweaked it doing lunges one night, and I was going to shut it down. And this is probably about like, I don't know how late it was in Italy. It was probably about like 9 or 10 o'clock here. So it's probably midnight over in Italy. Millie and I was messaging back and forth, and she's sending me pictures of where does it hurt, exactly why it is. She was digging into it. And she's like, okay, we can get around this. Don't go all the way down to heels, but go halfway. You're not going to hurt it by going halfway, right? So that's where I really benefit from that knowledge. And like, everything feeds upon itself. Because then I was going to basketball games all the time with my sons, and I love being the old man walking up the stadium stairs, taking 2 steps at a time, and it's nothing.
How awesome does that feel?
That
man?
was
Come on, even kids do that now.
Because that's one of my, being an accountant, I look at key performance indicators. Getting down the floor with my grandkids is one. Getting up and down constantly all the time, and lifting them up in funky positions as well. And then also like going up steps like that where I'm taking 2 at a time, and it's nothing.
Man, what you're basically doing is you're making a case for the no excuse crowd. You just do it. It's because look, let me ask you this: on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is it really, Kelvin? Really?
It's not. And once you get it going, it starts feeding on itself.
It's perpetuating, right?
Mhm.
It just you move on your momentum, and I want people to start to understand. Ignore the tricks, ignore the fads, the gimmicks, all that crap. It doesn't work. You just need to understand your own body and what you need, and then be consistent. And that's what you've done. You've proven it over and over and over again for yourself. And looking back though too, because like now there's a reflective aspect of this. What are you most proud of when you think about what you've overcome?
I had no idea it would be this good. I had no idea it was this good. Like what was I expecting was going to be a win when we first talked was like a dot on the horizon behind me. I had no idea it was going to be this good.
When you say this good, are you talking about like how much more force you can produce, how well you feel? Like when you say this good, like how do you mean?
All of that and then some. Like just going out through my day and how you do have the energy. Like I want to, not to sound like a goody two shoes, but I want to be good to people, right? I'm in my mid 50s. I want to be good to people, and however I can pour into you, I want to pour into your walk, you whatever. Like I said, if I don't have the energy, strength, or stability, I can't do that, right? And so even if you're sitting in a chair all day, that's still male energy. Some days, mental energy is a whole lot more harder to come up with than physical energy, right? But you're set for that, because there is some mentally tough days when you're being consistent and stuff like that. But like what you think is hard after a short period of time is no longer hard. You're like, this is nothing. Like it, and when I say this isn't arrogance or hubris. This is competing against myself, talking to myself in the mirror. Is like just bring it. I want to do this today. Just bring it.
What more do you need is an individual human being than to perform at your absolute best for yourself? Because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anyone else. And then you take care of your family, you take care of your friends.
I think of my body and money the same thing. It's a tool that you're blessed with. So what are you gonna do with it?
I agree. It is very difficult to me because sometimes people when they start with Forge particularly, they think I just want to get shredded and I want to lose all this weight. And I'm like, we may not be precisely the right place for you, because you know why? We're not going to starve you. We're not going to beat you down. We're not going to destroy your body. You're going to actually have to learn how to manage this forever. And I think maybe from a marketing standpoint, that's not a good approach. I don't care. I don't care.
I wouldn't either. I really wouldn't either. Cause like I hate the term diet. All my relatives, my kids are down to go wherever I want to go down to. But like even like when I go outside with my kids, like my relatives know I'm trying to be in shape, and they're like, "Well, where can you eat at to stay on your diet?" I'm like, I can eat anywhere. I'm not on a diet. This is a plan. I can
It's
eat
a
anywhere.
life.
Nowadays, I mean, you can stop at the gas station on the way home. They're gonna have turkey and cheese sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? You can eat anywhere. And I know you're gonna have sodium there, but there's also a whole bunch of junk, right? You can
Sure.
make do. And so even if you got forced into going to McDonald's, you can have a plain hamburger that's less than 300 calories. Not a whole lot of nutrients in it, but it's not a bunch of empty calories. You, you
Yeah,
can
no,
you can
it's
get
true.
you can get by anywhere. Of course, I'd rather have like the chicken and the rice and things of that nature, but you can eat healthy anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, you can find a low calorie option
Right. Right.
anywhere.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
No,
talking
no,
about.
I get it. I totally get it. And it's easy to fall into that. Like, what makes your story so interesting to me is that you struggled so hard for so long. And it's not that you weren't willing to put in the work. It's just that you had not put the work in correctly.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. I did
Right.
not know what to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And then once you started doing it and you were consistent, the results speak for themselves. You look great. And I'm sure you have more goals. There's more things that you want to accomplish. That's all great. I'm so excited that you have created this sustainable foundation, and you can launch off into whatever you want. Like athleticism at 56 is totally reasonable. There's no reason that you can't be dunking on your grandkids.
There isn't. There isn't. And here's the beautiful part too about having a coach. Millie's brought to this at me a couple of different times. She goes, Kevin, when you eat completely clean, you eat more calories than you do when you eat junk, and you perform better and you weigh less.
And you feel better, don't
You
you?
do. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
People ask me all the time. This is a very common question for me. And so I just re-answer it as often as I can. So people say, if you could give somebody advice for one thing they could do for their fitness and one thing they could do for their nutrition that could change their lives literally within 30 days. And I say the same thing every single time. For nutrition, cut added sugar. And for your workouts, go walk for 45 minutes at 135 to 145 BPM, meaning you're power walking, you're almost
Right.
jogging. You do those two things, and you do the food every day, and you do the physical activity 5 times a week. You will lose body fat, and you will improve your heart health, your liver health, your kidney functions, your endocrine system. Everything will improve. The data's there.
But yeah, and see, I was a big soft drink drinker before I got hooked up to you guys,
Remember, right?
and
Was it root beer that you were into?
no, I
Was that
drank
what
I
you
drank Coke and Pepsi is what I was big
Coca-Cola and
into.
Pepsi? Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
okay.
like almost all the time, like in my hand. And then there's also like an emotion sport thing. Something good happened, I
Yeah,
went and got Coke and Reese's. Something bad happened, I went and got Coke and Reese's. But like now, like for about the past 2 years, we didn't track my water consumption because I pretty much fall backwards into either just under or just over a gallon a day. And the
perfect for
thing
you.
and the thing about it is, it's kind of like I try to think about like your body's kind of like your lawn outside. You really want a healthy lawn, feed it right. It's not you got to kill all the weeds, because if it's a healthy lawn, weeds can't grow because the lawn will choke it out. It's then the same thing like with your body. Like if you're feeding it right, it's going to choke out the bad
You need a job.
stuff. I would love to be a
I mean, that was some high level coaching right there.
thank you, but it comes from screwing it up so much.
Again, I love Millie, and thank you so much for being a huge advocate for her. And you are right. But Kelvin, you have to accept this truth. You did the work.
Yeah, I
You
appreciate that.
do the hard work, and you're doing it consistently. And I just absolutely think that you've only begun, my friend. Listen, Kelvin,
I hope so. That's why I think. I hope so. I hope
I
so.
want to see
Can I tell you about a conversation Millie and I had? I told Millie, like, this may be TMI, but I never want to retire. I want to slow down at some point, right? Like
I understand.
When I'm 90 years old, I'm going to be helping someone. Let me be an accountant. I'm going to be helping somebody balance their checkbook. I might be at the Goodwill unloading boxes off a truck when I'm 90. Mm-hmm. And Millie's response was, I get it. She's like, I'm going to be in the old folks home 100 years old, training the people that's 110 years old.
Yeah, no, I hear that. And I totally agree. I'm the same way. But I wanted you to know, and I want to affirm that you have done a phenomenal job. You have made the decision. You're the one who put forth the effort.
Well, thank
You're
you.
the one who shows up to your coaching calls. You're the one who follows what Millie prescribes. You're the one who is keeping your mindset clean, and you're thinking about your longevity and your mobility and your kids and your grandkids. You're the one who's thinking about, how can I become the best version of myself, no matter how old you are. I want to see you even better in your 60s than you are in your 50s, and you're on your path, my friend. And that nobody can take that away from you. And that is your true story. You did it. You were smart. You accepted help. You were strategic about it. That's true. We'll take 5% credit. You get 99% and, like a bleed over, right? Dude, you did it. And you're doing it and I'm really, really proud of you. And that is the whole point of our conversation today, was to hear the struggle, to listen to the journey, and to hear how you're telling people us to do it, right? That was your message.
Yeah, and you'll do it. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's. It can be just however you do it and whatever mode you do it.
Just do it. Whether it was with us, whether it's on your own, I don't care. What I care about is that people become well. We are a sick society. Children are massively obese, and it's getting worse, and it's going to continue until people stop it. And you know what's going to stop it? It's guys like you who have kids and grandkids who say, nope, we're stopping right now. You're going to be fit, and watch. I'm going to show you exactly how to dunk this ball, because you can touch rim, you know? And you want to be able to do that into your 60s and to manage. Like I said, you and I had this conversation. You said that you do not want your grandkids to press you on the court in your 60s. You said that in our first call.
That's very true.
You're not going to let it happen, because you took action. And congratulations to you, my friend. You're doing a great job.
Thank you so much.
I'm proud of you, man. You really are.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Anything else that you want to tell folks? Is there one last thing that you want to leave people with? I'm going to leave the last word to you.
Again, nothing's ever over. I mean, you could have all sorts of conditions, be 70 years old. Nothing is ever over unless you allow it to be over. Nothing's ever.
Kelvin, this has been an absolute delight. Thank you for staying over. I know this went way longer than I think you expected, but we had just had such a delightful conversation. And I think that this is going to be helpful. This is evergreen. People are going to be able to hear this till the end of the internet, and I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for spending the time to come and spend with me and tell your story. And of course, praising Millie is always great, because, it's Millie, and who doesn't want to praise?
She's the bomb.
She's fantastic. I love her to death. And, she's like I said, we're going on. I'm almost known her for 20 years. She's just near and dear. And so are you. Like you and I met in October of 2020, and here you are today. And I can't express to you how grateful I am that you have been part of the Forge family. And brother, I've got your back. If you ever need anything, I'm an email away. If Millie's out or whatever, I got you. Okay.
I do, but I thank y'all for everything. It's been my pleasure. My 110% pleasure.
Kelvin, congratulations. You're doing great. Thank you for sharing your story. I cannot wait to share it.
Well, once again, it's been my pleasure. If you need anything from me, don't hesitate to ask.